All right, guys, thanks again for joining us. This is Cat's Pajamas.
And I am Pain User.
Yes, he is Pain User. Guys, we are back for game number 3, the rubber match of this set between vileHasHe spawning as our red Terran player here at the 9 o'clock position on Metalopolis. We have his opponent at the 3 o'clock position, Complexity's Cruncher, our orange Protoss player. And now Cruncher has been playing, you know, I almost thought that game number 1, the heavy gateway upgrade style, was a little bit reactionary to the amount of damage that Hash was doing to him economically, forcing him to stay on those 2 bases, just trying to get whatever units he can to mount some sort of an attack. But game number 2 on Tal'Darim, he was setting the pace the entire game and really just kept hitting that very strong gateway play.
I think the thing that really didn't work for Cruncher, and I didn't really notice this until post-game just thinking about it right now, is that generally when you see someone do like a 6-gate or a 7-gate, 7-gate's very rare, but when you do see that, they have like one concerted effort for an aggressive push that ends the game, and the Terran just doesn't have enough to deal with it. What Cruncher did is he went with like a 3-gate pressure that didn't work out, lost a ton of units at the natural of Hash, and then tried to transition into like a post 3-gate aggression 7-gate, and wasn't able to get any aggression out of it because I feel like he had just sustained too many losses and committed too many resources to that first push. So it was like almost like the phase 2 of aggression that never came through.
Exactly. I mean, Hash is doing such a wonderful job of just keeping him right back in that position over and over and over again. And I think that's what Hash is going to have to do this game. He tried to get frisky with the early Marines in the last game, but he was never really able to follow up with any sort of aggression. Looks like Cruncher going to steal the gas now out of Hash.
So annoying.
Assimilator coming down. That's going to force Hash into another expand barracks sort of build.
Click on the assimilator real quick.
Yes.
Can anyone tell me why assimilators have 900 hit points? Click on the refinery. Like what?
500, yeah.
Like what's the deal with that? And they don't require anything to build. I mean, I could just go on about this forever, but they are by far and away the best gas stealing building,
absolutely.
Bar none.
Absolutely.
I mean, extractors are okay.
Well, extractors you can regenerate over and over and over and over again. You can be really annoying with them, but that takes money.
It does.
I mean, it takes money, it takes time, and it
a drone.
One of your drones. Bingo, exactly. So, let's see here. It looks like Hash is going after a 1 barracks into a tech lab, so we'll see what he produces from this. Oh,
wow, he adds that second rack so late on 19. That's really interesting.
He did. I don't think he did that in game number 1. I thought it was 2 racks, and then the add-on got added whenever the barracks was actually coming on. So maybe a little bit of a differentiation here.
Yeah. Generally, when you see someone 2 racks, you know, the supply is much earlier. It's on either 13 or even 16, maybe 17, and pulling off a few probes right there, trying to get the surround. But Hash on top of things, staying active with his scouting SCV. Cruncher actually blocking the front with that Zealot, not going to let that SCV get out of there. It is in the red, so 1 swipe from that Zealot will eventually take it out, and that Sentry is going to be able to clear it out. And wow, Hash actually going with 3 racks here. I don't know if I like this at all. One thing though is that if you're going to do it, Metalopolis is probably a pretty good map to do it on, just because there's no choke for him. You can get a really good spread at the natural, and obviously with 3 racks you're going to build up that huge bio ball early on and try and hit some sort of a stim timing. So, I mean, if you're going to do it, I'd say Xel'Naga or Metalopolis would be the map to do it on, but I can't help but think that Cruncher is just going to be able to deal with this.
This is going to be a lot of resources invested right here. Especially, it looks like pretty predictable. It looks like he's going to have enough gas for a reactor here in just a second if he wants to go that route and go like full all-in style.
Why isn't he getting rid of that assimilator?
I don't know at this point. Does he just want to convince Cruncher that he is going for some sort of a expand timing or something?
I mean,
like
I'm
that?
sure Cruncher assumes that anyway. I mean, generally when you gas steal,
look at that. He goes right to the expansion and doesn't see anything, so he was totally expecting that to be the case. Now that assimilator isn't down and he doesn't see the expansion, he knows something funny is up. He knows, I'm really curious to see how he reacts to this. I'll see if he goes up to a 4th gate.
Well, he could have put the CC in his main, though. That's also very common, is that somebody will put the command center like right here in the main, and so Cruncher might have a hunch.
But the timing there out of Cruncher was I mean, he moved that probe down to just the point when that command center could have been floating over or something like that, or if it had been constructed there would have been some defenses out there. So I mean, Cruncher's sense of timing is pretty good here. Looks like he has a pretty good bio ball up. I mean, he's producing 2 Marauders, 1 Marine at a time. Man, though, I got to tell you, he has got to hope that this attack does some significant damage, because Cruncher is establishing a 3-gate expand build. He also has, I like how he took it down the neutral supply depot right away. He's going to be able to invest in tech soon. He's going to be producing double workers at a time. He finally has a good number of sentries. The first time we've seen that out of Cruncher.
Oh, God. And it looks like ships passing in the night as both players' armies are crossing. Cruncher definitely farther along than Hash. And keep in mind, Cruncher will be able to warp sentries onto the top of his ramp and force field that ramp. And it looks like Cruncher is going to head into the main right here. He sees one Marauder moving out on the way. He's not actually going for the main. Hash is not turning around. He is going to continue to press on. Cruncher might be making a huge mistake right here by not pushing into the main. He's actually chasing that Marauder all the way across the map. And here we go. Hash is going to get straight into the main, and Cruncher is in an absolutely horrid position right now.
And Hash is going to be able to take down this warp gate very, very quickly. He could actually go after that expansion if he wants to, but it looks like Hash is going to make his way up. There are 3 stalkers that are sitting here. Cruncher has a lot of probes. Oh my God, the main may go down. Looks like all the units for Cruncher are coming back. There we go. Hash actually pulls off of this. He doesn't finish off the Nexus.
Oh, he's going to kill everything.
Are actually going to trap his units. Hash is going to lose his entire army.
Oh, man, that could have gone so much better for Hash right there. He was so indecisive. He didn't know what he wanted to go for. He really... If I was in that situation, I probably would have just committed 100% to killing off all those probes. Maybe burned a stim, killed those 3 stalkers that he warped in, and then just tried to kill as many probes as humanly possible. And then when the army eventually comes back, stim again, sacrifice as many units as you can, and just kill as much as possible.
And he had total lack of positioning there, so there was no way he was going to be able to kill any of those units. I mean, if he had just even focused on the Nexus, if he had taken a couple more production structures, if he had done anything other than just sitting there,
killing a gateway and then working on the Nexus. Yeah, that's not optimal at all. And his command center is so far behind at this point. He's only at 50% right now, and he might actually just get outright broken right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Cruncher wants to make his way up. If he can get a little bit of vision with a Zealot or 2, he can start to force field off
all those.
Exactly, force field off all of the units. So Hash, he is trying to take down this assimilator. That is going to fall eventually. His command center is almost done. But right now we see, there's the Zealot that was trying to come up there. Real quick before that attack happens, or if that attack happens, we have Cruncher going to a 3rd gate, and he also has his robotics facility coming up. But my God, he's already ahead by 8 workers. He's already producing 2 at a time at this point, so his economic situation is going to be absolutely ridiculously good.
Yeah, he's in a great economic situation. He's also ahead a little bit in supply here. Obviously working off 2 base. He has that double chrono boost. His sentries have accumulated quite a bit of energy. Let's check them out real quick. I think...
Let me see here.
Yeah.
Almost all full.
So almost all full. He's going to have a ton. And this is the first game we've actually seen Cruncher really build up a sentry force early on in the game.
And a robotics bay. So we're going to have Colossus. We're going to have a backbone that's supported by high-energy sentries. A little more predictable death ball coming out of him this time around. And I like that. I think that's the way to go. Because right now, he has Hash down to basic... Well, actually, I'll give it to Hash right now. He did tech to starport a little bit quicker than I thought he was going to right there. Thought he would establish his economy and get out a little bit better static defense. But I gotta admit, Hash is doing a pretty good job of catching back up in supply. Cruncher's still way ahead in tech. He's ahead. Well, I don't know. Starport's out now. The robotics bay is up. I mean, every time I think that Cruncher should be ahead because of the amount of damage he's done, I've got to hand it to Hash. I mean, he has done a good job at keeping this a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Hash is doing a great job. He was so far behind right there. He lost his entire army. He was on 1 base, but he has managed to establish his natural. He's also got a pretty sizable bioforce. I think he might have forgotten about combat shield. We are getting up to 100 supply at this point. He still does not have combat shield. It's not upgrading, and he is spending gas on medevacs. I feel like combat shield is probably the most important thing for him right now, as he does have a lot of Marines out on the field. But our first Colossus and Colossus range are about to hit the field. Colossus range at about 50% right now. Second Colossus already on the way, and we do have a Forge down. So he is going to start getting those upgrades and building up that Colossus count. But Hash moving out with a huge bio ball right now might be able to hit a pretty successful timing push right here, assuming he gets in before that second Colossus. That's the really important thing, and also possibly before range. I don't know, though. CrunCher also has a pretty sizable gateway force, and he has all those force fields.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Those sentries are now all full energy, so, I mean, he's going to be able to drop down a ridiculous amount of force fields, guardian shields, etc., 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 and he is going up to upgrades as well. Excuse me. So he looks like he was actually thinking about moving out and engaging that force there, if he could get the positioning on his terms. Looks like the second Colossus has come out and range is just about to finish. That is going to significantly improve CrunCher's position. No, actually, there's not been a tech switch here yet on the factory and starport. There it is. I would expect that to happen there. But no engineering bay whatsoever. So by the time this engagement actually does happen, CrunCher has already used that superior economy to start pulling a pretty good supply advantage. At the same time, looks like a couple of units were warping in there for CrunCher. Yeah, just to take a look around, but that pylon is going to go down. There it goes. Hash putting up his third base at this time as well. But, you know, CrunCher, wow, he's playing way ahead in tech. He's already up in supply as well, so looks like he is going to take the approach of just getting farther and farther ahead and engaging on his terms.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that third coming, and both players taking their thirds at roughly the exact same time. And, well, CrunCher, you know, not getting too crazy with his tech. He's probably going to get Blink, and that's almost a necessity to screen for your stalkers. Blink under the Vikings, pick a few off when he's trying to take pod shots. And now that he has that second forge, he's going to be able to chrono those upgrades out. What are his upgrades out right now?
Looks like he just finished up +1 armor. He's going
so
to
he's got +2, +1. Okay, yes. So he is going to be considerably ahead of Hash in the upgrades. Hash working off of 1 engineering bay, just now getting weapons 1. And oh my god, that Marine just got zapped like one of those bugs in those mosquito killer things. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he just got
giant
fried
in St. Louis.
So anyway, that Marine trying to get a little recon done for Hash. Hash not being the best general, just sending him into his death right there, and not too superior of a Viking count for Hash. I don't know if that's going to be enough to even 2-volley the Colossus. And when you're not 2-volleying Colossus, it's not good.
No, not at all. I mean, because he's going to have to take, he's got 3, he's going to have 4, so he's going to take at least 3 shots to take down if +2 armor is able to hit before that as well. May even take a 4th volley, depends on how well he actually targets
absolutely,
the Colossi.
Because armor coupled with you know, your guardian shield and the fact that Vikings have 2 attacks, a lot of people don't even realize that Colossus with armor and guardian shield become
it does double
monsters.
duty. It does double duty because each tech plays into that armor upgrade. Right.
So it's like armor upgrades are so good for Protoss. People don't realize this. I hate it when I see players, you know, going for those aggressive attack upgrades with Protoss. It's like, what are you thinking? You can turn your Colossus into walking ultralisks that are 20 feet tall with range upgrade, you know. But anyway, it looks like Hash is trying to move across the map right here.
And his army is actually significantly larger. I mean, there's a 20 worker discrepancy between the 2 players, and Hash is almost caught up in supply, so he has a 15 supply advantage in army. But we have +2, +1 just finishing for CrunCher. +1 still hasn't even finished for Hash at the moment. So his upgrade, this is such an upgrade discrepancy. Looks like Hash, is he going to move forward here? He does scan. He does take out the observer there for the moment. But CrunCher is probably pretty well advised to walk into this.
Goodness.
Blinks up, almost picks off 1 Viking right there, but that is going to force Hash away.
I think that might have been Hash's opportunity for an engagement right there. When all those stalkers blinked down, I mean, assuming CrunCher held on to the high ground, held on to that top position, he was able to force field the ramp right there. In the event that Hash came up, he had superior positioning. But when CrunCher chose to push down and extend with all those stalkers, if he had just stemmed, spread everything, engaged right there, I think that would have been perfect for him. But now he is getting into that 200 situation. We do have Warp Prism speed on the way.
Observer.
Oh, observer
Actually,
speeder.
just checked it because I didn't know from the picture. So
I rarely do I see that. So he is getting that observer speed. He's probably going to be patrolling around with observers. He did lose that observer over Hash's army. He's going to want to reestablish that. It looks like he's actually sending one in right now across the middle of the map.
Look at what CrunCher is setting up for, though. Another 5 gateways coming down and Templar tech, and he's about to finish 3-2 as well. It doesn't matter. I mean, he could let Hash sit on 200 as long as he wants because of the way that Hash is not investing building an infrastructure right now. He just needs to wait for that one engagement, have about, a couple thousand minerals banked, and then he can just crush his opponent. I mean, he'll be able to replenish so fast with these 5 gateways. Let's see, he's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 gateways with ridiculous amounts of upgrades, and he'll be pumping out robo units at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, Cruncher, it's going to take a lot for Hash. It's going to take ridiculously good positioning. Picking off those Colossi was suffering no damage whatsoever for him to really be able to engage this force heads up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's going to be very difficult for him to win this next fight. He hasn't invested in the double engineering bay. He just now got his second engineering bay, and he's starting that weapons too. Hash does have a very good spread here, though. He has 3 different pockets of units, but it looks like Cruncher is actually going to move north and possibly engage one of those pockets while it is alone. Hash scanning, gets a good read on exactly where the Protoss army is, and it looks like he is going to go in here. Cruncher moving in. Hash with a great spread, but perfect force fields going off. Block his entire army from getting up there. Vikings are not picking off the Colossus. Hash is losing units left and right. Cruncher just being very composed, pulling out of that situation. It was indeed a trap. It's a trap! And he did pull out of it, so he's not going to lose all those units. And both players just not really willing to commit at this point, but I feel like Cruncher definitely got the better of that, and the supplies do reflect it.
Yeah, and definitely. And Cruncher's playing exactly how he wants to play right now, because he's sitting back. He traded a few units right there, actually got the better of it, of course, and then bam, there's your 13 gates coming into play. Immediately remaxes within seconds. Still has 3K, 1K banked right now to be able to replenish this. Looks like he has another 4 gateways coming up that's going to give him 17 gateway, double robo with all the upgrades in the world. He's about to finish 3-3. He's getting charged for his zealots as well, so he is going to be able to make an incredibly powerful push.
How many zealots does he even have right now? Oh, he's got 11? All right, that's definitely worthwhile.
But he can warp in 17 at a time. So.
Yeah, and one thing that's really important is that Cruncher's been on 4 base for quite a while now. That fourth base actually getting dropped, I believe. Yeah, had to pull his probes away. Didn't really lose anything. I saw him pull those probes really quick on the minimap, so not a big deal. And it looks like this CC, the Nexus and the CC might both go down, so both players trading their 4th bases, and it looks like Cruncher's going to try and push into the 3rd planetary here, and there are so many Vikings coming into the mix, but it might be too late, and these Templar in the back have storms ready to go.
Yeah, those storms are going to do, the storms have already done so much damage, but they're going to continue to do more and more and more. That planetary just, I mean, it was done in a second. That thing was down. Unbelievable job there. Looks like Hash no, he doesn't even have enough to clean this up. The Archons are taking so much damage right now. Oh my god, he is doing so much damage. Cruncher's going to be able to just annihilate this entire economy line as well. SCV's going down left and right. He cleaned up the aggression down here. Why? Because he can warp in 17 Stalkers at one time, and he still has 3K, 1K banked, and Hash is down to almost no supply. He's going to be able to push in. Cruncher's going to be able to push in now, even with these meager amount of forces he has left, and completely annihilate the rest of Hash's forces.
I almost feel like the way players are playing now, where they establish that trust fund towards the end of the game, and then they add so many gateways, it really benefits the basically, just to let you guys know, Cruncher's really just cleaning up right now. Yes. I really wish Terran was that easy. So and this kind of ties into what I was saying, is that they sit back, and not only does Protoss almost assuredly have an advantage as the game goes into that super late, 4 base to 4 base type scenario. It's oh my goodness, and it's and it's almost lending them to that style even more now. And I think that now that players realize that you can bank that much money, have 17 gateways, instantly replenish 50 supply worth of units at the end of a battle, that makes that style of play even better. So the longer there's a lull in the action, the longer both players aren't really willing to commit, the stronger and stronger and stronger the Protoss becomes. And
let's give credit where credit is due right now. Hash may be saying, I'd love to get you see you.
Oh, he's just talking shit.
Of course, but Cruncher earned this from point A to point B here with the gas steal, with the fact that Hash decided to make a conscious decision to go 3 racks virtually all in at the beginning of the game, and Cruncher was able to hold that off really, really well. He picked his positioning, and then he sat back and said, all right, it's on you now. I'm going to sit back and do what I want. It's up to you to do any sort of aggression or harassment, and Hash just wasn't able to commit to that. So Cruncher played a great game all the way from the beginning.
I think we only saw one drop out of Hash in this series.
And it was almost when it didn't matter down at the fourth.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Anyways, it looks like Cruncher going to take this series 2-1. So congratulations to Complexity's Cruncher. And we will be coming right back with another set of games for you guys. So stick around.